Broadway welcomed the return of several legendary actresses this season. Uta Hagen and Julie Andrews are just two, but only one is portraying the legendary opera singer Maria Callas. Three-time Tony Award winner Zoë Caldwell is starring in Terrence McNally's Master Class. Although she knew little about opera and did not speak Italian before this role, she has captivated audiences, including me, and she's thrilled critics with her portrayal of the fabled Callas. In addition to her long and accomplished career in acting, Zoë Caldwell is a successful director, most recently with Vita and Virginia, and we are, at long last, very pleased to have her here at this table this evening. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm
very pleased to be here.
I say this with unabashedly and without reservation. It's one of the great evenings that I have had in the theater in a long time. And it is because of you and a sense of obviously, what Terrence has done and what he's given you and all the collaborations that come between the word and the script and what you bring to it. But the subject matter is fascinating. The notion of a master class, all of it makes for an extraordinary evening in which you walk away with an experience, you walk away with insight, and you walk away feeling I'm enriched by this time. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Then the interview is over and we can
terrific.
go.
Yes, we can't go any
Let's
further.
leave it there.
No, let's leave it there.
How did you feel about it when it was a... Flattery will get you everywhere, sir. No, I mean...
It shortens the program, so...
Because it was so long-winded. Tell me about when you first were approached for this and how you saw it and what was it that attracted you to do this?
Well, Terrence said he'd written a play, or he was about to write a play, of two sisters, one thin, successful opera singer, one fat, unsuccessful, who dressed her, I think. And I said, are either of them funny? Because I'm always cast as a tragedian. And I said, are either of them funny? He said, yes, the fat one will be funny. I said, and will I play the fat one? He said, yes. So that was fine. It was very limited little talk. Then he suddenly rang and said, I'm writing a play about Maria Callas giving a master class, and this is the play that I'm writing with you in mind. I thought, oh, so now I don't get to be funny anymore. Yeah. So then he sent me the first act, and I didn't think it was funny. And then he sent me the second. No, then he said to me, come to Big Fork, Montana.
What happens in Big Fork?
To the Gathering. Oh. There's something called the Gathering, yes. Where it was a wonderful thing, actually, where a lot of writers get as far as away from New York and all the big cities, and they have their plays read by actors. So I went out, and he gave me the second act, and I looked at it, and I thought, well, it's fine, I suppose. I don't know anything about Maria Callas, and there's a lot of Italian, and however, we'll get together with actors around a table, and the moment, really the moment we started to read it as actors around a table, I realized how deeply funny it was. Yeah. And also how terrific it was. But then that leaves out the audience, and I hadn't included the audience, and as you know, the audience really is a character.
Exactly.
You could never film this play because it really is a theatre piece with the audience as a character. Then we did the reading, and I realized, and you do know quickly with a play, that it was a play that audiences wanted. They really wanted. They wanted to laugh. They wanted to cry. They wanted to listen, really listen. So I came back and I said to Robert, boy, they really listened.
Robert,
they really want Robert Whitehead. And he said they did. And I said, yes. So then we got together, everybody, and with Leonard Folliard to direct, and then we cast that extraordinary cast that we have. Aren't we lucky with that cast? Audra MacDonald, Karen K. Cody, Jay Morris, David Loud, and Michael we found in Philadelphia. And then we had a reading, and we opened it in Philadelphia, and immediately the same thing was the audience wanted. And you know, I think, Charlie, that part of it is they really feel the audience included. And so much of what goes on in our lives nowadays are so technologically involved that it excludes us from one another. And just as the Greeks knew that it's better when you sit together, however hard the seat, it's better when you get together and share.
I assume that has to do with the magic of the theater for you.
For me, it does,
Yeah,
yes.
for you. That's why you're more at home.
Yes, well, I'm only at home in the theater.
Sure. But it is that audience is there. Whether they are as they are in this performance, almost, as you say, a character, and you are constantly talking to them as much as you're talking to the characters you play. What did you know, what did you have to come to realize about Callas?
Oh, everything. Because I knew nothing about her, except that she was a great diva and had been very fat and became very thin and spent quite a deal of her life with Aristotle Onassis as his mistress, and eventually was betrayed, as Medea was betrayed by Jason. And when I was playing
Medea... character you know, yes.
A man, Martin Waldron, sent me a book, the Stasinopoulos book, Ariana Stasinopoulos book, and before I would go on, I would read the betrayal chapter to fire me for Medea. Yeah. That's really all I knew about Maria Callas. Now I know everything about Maria Callas, and I'm deeply boring.
No, but stay with me on this. You found out, for example, I mean, you don't believe that her relationship with Callas, with Onassis, destroyed her voice.
No.
That her appetite for other things destroyed her voice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She spent all her life, to the age of 36, concentrating here. And that's where she concentrated. She made her voice. So I feel, as she made her voice, it was hers to lose. And then she fell in love and she discovered the rest of her body.
Yes.
She discovered sybaritic things, wondrous things, man, woman, and he was the right man. He's the only man who could have said to the great diva, hey, he's the only guy in town. No one else would have done that. They were all terrified of her. But that makes sense to me. Therefore, her giving herself so totally to him makes sense to me. It doesn't make her... it makes her deeply vulnerable. And I said in one thing, deeply heterosexual. And somebody said, what do you mean, deeply heterosexual? As though suddenly I was homophobic because I'd used the word. But it was almost... her heterosexuality... because she hadn't used it as you and I had used it during our lives earlier on and become acquainted with it. If you don't use it, then you're vulnerable, very vulnerable.
Because the richness of all that experience, all that pleasure...
Yes, she didn't have any history of that.
So she had no context for it at all.
No, so she was really...
Is it possible also that people who, who are great talents, whether it's on stage, whether of any opera, whether it's in some other endeavor in the arts, who are so given to that talent, are childlike or inexperienced in a whole lot of areas of their life?
I think you have to be. I think, she says, you must decide what you want.
Yes.
For we cannot do everything. And I think talent is partly made up of a limitation in some other area, or many limitations. But in one thing, you have strength, and that makes you feel good.
And defines you.
And defines you. So for that, people will do it for drugs.
Yes.
Therefore, why not for some extraordinary talent? For that talent, you will give away everything else and be only that. I think most really great talents have one strange... they have blinkers. And they're able to jump from A to Z instead of all of us who go B, C, D.
Somebody once, in an interview with me, I said to them... No, there was an audience there, and we took questions from the audience, and someone stood up and said, what do I have to do to become a champion? And the person who the question was addressed to said, if you ask that question, you will never become a champion. because
Absolutely.
you're prepared to pay any price.
That's right.
And meet any difficulty.
That's right.
To be considered the best and to find what it is that makes you somewhere deep inside of you feel whole, which
That's
is
right.
the performance of your craft.
That's right. The performance of your craft, that's what's so thrilling that you included that word. Because that is when you're dealing with someone who truly is... it isn't the performance and the parties and the the interviews, except this one. But,
no, it's not all the things that surround it.
No, but it isn't all that
It is
stuff.
the essence of doing it.
And I think our society doesn't quite let young people understand that that is the demand. It's very demanding. I have now a life of going to the theater, playing, getting ready for Maria for 3 hours, playing, saying thank you very much, going home, and like some nun. I don't know that nuns do this at all. No, like some... Anyway, like some other person. Having something to drink, something to eat, and go to bed.
Yeah.
And I don't feel I'm deprived in any way, that I'm not dining out and...
Of course not.
And the toast of the town, because that's my...
Because that 3
joy.
hours on everything is directed to that 3 hours.
Yes, absolutely.
On stage, everything. What you eat, how much you sleep, all of it is because of that performance.
All of it. Yeah. And it's very tough on a husband. And it's very tough on kids if you have kids, and it's very tough on dogs if you have dogs. Yeah. It's very tough because you take away and you become very selfish.
Have you paid a price to be as good as you are?
Well, no, because I happen to want so badly to have a marriage and children. This really was a double whammy that I had, and I always knew that for me to be whole, I must have a real marriage and kids. And so at a certain point, I really stopped because I didn't think I could manage both. And I really had and have a really good marriage and two terrific guys who are my kids. And now they're busy, and now I'm doing this. But I don't want to do it forever because I want to go back into life again. I'm not in life at the moment.
And so as long as you have this kind of responsibility to craft, you really don't have that other life that also is so satisfying for you.
No, I don't.
You have to put it in suspension.
Yes, and I don't mind. But it's not fair on the ones whom you normally, who your family. I don't think, especially my husband. Although he's darling, he's the producer.
Yes.
But I see that he doesn't have a life, not a real life.
Let me come back to Callas, too. What do you want us to know about Callas? What do we want to walk away that evening at the end, when you've given so much of yourself, to know about? What do you want us as the actor to feel, to know?
Well, that her human frailties were enormous. Her strengths were divine.
Her ego was...
Her ego was beyond the limit. But, you know, if you only know about the really strong, big stuff, as I only knew, then you don't know about the whole person. And what we were talking about before, about what is revealed, when people reveal to you something of themselves, their real selves, that's a kind of love. When people strip off in front of you.
Are willing to give you something of themselves which they haven't shared with anyone else, or rarely. Here at this table, it's some sense of confidence in me, or some sense of appreciation.
And it's rare. And I think it's very important that we do that more and more and more in life, reveal a little bit more of ourselves and not feel cut off.
Are actresses better able to do that?
To reveal?
Yeah, to understand themselves, because part of a performance, I would think, part of being able to reach, I don't know anything about acting, the best of you, to reach inside of you. You're reaching inside of Maria Callas, you're reaching inside of the words of Terrence McNally, and you're reaching inside of your experiences and your insights and your knowledge and all of you. So therefore, you have to be a bit introspective, a bit...
Oh, you have to be a lot
insightful about who you are and what makes you tick and your, you know, and how in touch you are with who you are.
Yes. And you have to want to, I mean, I find people terrific.
Yes.
Men and women, and I just love watching them, and I love it when they reveal something of themselves to me. I feel very grateful for that. And that I tuck down somewhere, too, to use, because that's what theatre is. Theatre is a strange, handmade article, but it is deeply human, because it is living people reacting with living people. And if we let it go and don't nurture it, I don't know quite how we nurture it, but if we let it go from our lives forever, I think we'll be the poorer.
I do too. How many times have you found the kind of on stage as an actress, the joy, the experience you have in this? A character, Medea, what else? How many times have you come to a character and have the feelings, the experience that you're having right now at this point in your life in this performance? Many?
They vary, a few. Cleopatra I did. Yeah. I did, strangely enough, with Lillian, although she was such a difficult woman to have inside your bloodstream. Oh, difficult. But Jean Brody I did.
Yeah, the prime of...
Yes. Medea. I get so angry when they say... I have to say Medea, because that's the opera. But it's Medea. Medea, that's the real name. And doesn't that sound like Medea?
Yes.
And I also wish I could say, well, it doesn't matter.
You wish you could say what?
No, the stones of Epidaurus, because that's really what Epidaurus is, but I can't say Epidaurus. Anyway, it sometimes happens a little bit. I have this more consistently, the joy with Maria, because of the audience wanting it in a funny way.
And because
they really
also
want it.
They want what? This play.
Yes, they do.
This experience.
Yes. Even, I love it, best of all, when I see a man come in from Westchester or New Jersey with his wife, and then what seems to be a tall, although I'm really very short, seems to be a tall woman in a black suit comes in and is bossy and far too talkative. And they think, oh, why do I need this? Yeah. And I love it when they're close enough that I can see them eventually...
You win them.
...begin to be suckered in to Maria. Yeah. Because if they're open enough to be suckered into Maria, then something will be open in them for life.
What did Maria teach you? What did you learn from this role, from this character?
Well, most of the things she teaches are what I believe and what I teach when I teach, or what I try to get across when I direct. They're the same words. She uses the same words. For me, the playwright is God, not the person. I don't feel.
What then?
But what does she teach?
And what is it the same thing that you draw on when you teach or when you direct, and in fact, directing is in part teaching?
Yes, the strange thing about her was she never had children. I find that when I teach, I draw on a lot of being a parent. Yeah. It's quite different to being... So it is with directing. It's more being a parent. Acting is being a sibling.
Yes.
And she never had a child, although she did indeed want one. But they say at the classes, I didn't ever see them, unfortunately.
Terrence did.
Terrence did, yes. And lots of people say she was very nurturing. Now, Terrence says the word nurturing is wrong. She wasn't a nurturer. But a lot of people contradict him in there. But what? Who knows?
Yeah. In the end, are you doing history, or are you simply doing your interpretation of the spirit of the woman?
An evocation, the spirit of Maria. You can't do history. It isn't a documentary. There's a marvelous tape on the masterclass if somebody would like to buy it.
So you can go hear her
That's
at
right.
the masterclass.
That's right.
You've listened to it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I've listened to everything.
Everything you could find.
Yes.
And you talk to her friends.
Oh, yes, I talk to her friends a lot. And one of her students from the masterclass gave me the walk. Shilanela.
Wow.
Isn't that thrilling? Oh, it's...
Have you learned to like opera more because of
well, I can't wait to be free to go to opera. Isn't that
And what do you want to
marvelous?
see? Tosca? What do you...
I want to see everything now. I want to go everywhere. And I said to Robert the other day, now, when I stop playing Maria, we mustn't just say, isn't this lovely, let's settle at home, and isn't it great? We must go to opera, we must go to concerts, because now I really want to learn. I really want to learn about music, which I never really knew about.
How is it that you never experienced music?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have a bum ear. I have a perfectly fine ear for music, but I guess I was just so busy seeing theatre. But now...
You can't wait to go.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
And Robert, too, which is nice.
It is a I don't know very much about it, but I've had many great people on this program, as you know. And it is a place that is full of personality. The world of opera and personality writ large.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just the diva notion. It is the notion of the conductors and the relationship between the artistic directors. There are all these very strong, opinionated, powerful figures.
Yes,
and frequently in competition. I don't know what it is about this thing called opera, you know, that brings out these
high passions.
and megalomania and all of that.
For want of a better word.
For the want of a better word. Film has never appealed to you?
No. I'm not a film actress.
I know you're not, but why? I know you say that all the time. No, I'm not a film actor.
I don't understand it. I mean, I love it, and I love to watch it. I really am a big film watcher, and I'm very admiring of the actors who act so marvelously on film, but I can't do it.
You can't do it, or you never really wanted to do it? Did you try to do it? Did you think about doing it and say,
I guess
it's not
I never
me?
wanted to
I guess so.
Try to do it. I'm not good with cameras. I'm not aware of a camera today.
Well, you shouldn't be, because
it's quite extraordinary.
Right.
I am not aware. But normally I am aware, and as soon as I am, then I feel cut off. And Audra was saying the other day, Audra, who is so extraordinarily gifted, was saying the other day how she feels so free in front of all the people. How can she learn to be free? That freedom in front of the camera. And I thought, with any luck, we've got a theatre artist.
Why directing for you? Why did you...
Why?
Yeah.
Because I always was criticizing in my mind, not out loud, directors' inability to handle certain actors. And then one day I thought, somebody offered me a play. Called An Almost Perfect Person with Colleen Dewhurst and George Hearn years ago. Right. And I thought, well, I'd better see if I can do it before I... Or button my lip.
Before you...
Button my lip.
Or before you...
Yeah, that's right. It was very sweet, actually. Because on the first reading, we sat at a table, and I thought, well, someone should start this ball rolling. We should start to read.
Yeah.
Then I suddenly realized I was the person.
So you had to start it.
I had to start it.
Yeah.
I like it.
And you do like it?
Yeah, I like it.
And I saw Vita and...
Virginia.
And Virginia with Vanessa and Eileen O'Brien.
Atkins.
I'm sorry, Atkins. They were both here.
They were.
On this program.
At this table.
At this table. And do you get as much satisfaction from that, from bringing out the best and from sort of putting a story together on the stage as you do from this enormous craft you have?
Do I get to... Yes, I think I do actually get as much. And it doesn't take me away from the family for so long, because you do your homework. I went to London and did a lot of homework on Vita and Virginia. And then once Vita and Virginia was running, then I went down south for a bit. But then I came back.
Down south to Florida, where you teach at...
Oh, no. I actually went down to the Georgetown, to the Lutheran. Just
I see. Did you start...
I do teach at Florida. It's Florida Atlantic University.
And why do you do that?
because they ask me. People always ask that. Why did you go to Florida Atlantic University?
Yes.
I said, because they asked.
But they asked me, and you said yes because I'd like to teach, or yes because it's a nice place to spend at Easter.
No, I thought, well, I'd never taught. Well, I had only once taught at the neighborhood playhouse, and I taught because somebody asked me again, and I thought, I think I could help them, especially with Shakespeare. I'm a very good teacher of Shakespeare.
You directed Othello with James Earl Jones.
Yes, I did, and Christopher Plummer.
Yes. Would you like to do that
and
again?
West. Would I like to do that again? No.
Not Othello, but what about Lear, or what about Hamlet, or what about Macbeth?
I've done Hamlet.
Yep.
I would like to...
Who'd you do Hamlet with?
With a man whom I can't remember his name at the moment, but he's a big television person. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But I like exploring. I don't have any desire to play Hamlet, but I sure love exploring it. And I find Shakespeare very easy to play. So, and always have, and I've played a lot of it through my life. I'm 62, and I've played since I was 9. I've been playing Shakespeare.
Yes.
And I find it very easy to play. So I thought maybe if I find it easier, I should work out why I find it easy, and maybe I can help actors who don't find it easy.
And did you work it out?
Yes.
And what's the reason?
They're simple. Number one is you use your own voice. Too many people, when they play Shakespeare, suddenly you're using another voice. I don't know what voice it is. And the American accent is very, very akin to what Shakespeare wrote for.
The American accent.
Yes. It was George III who couldn't say sister, brother, gold, cold. He could only say sister, brother, gold, because he was German. So that became the King's English. But what we're speaking here, well, what Americans are speaking,
Elizabethan, or what is it?
It's much more akin. Yeah. So first of all, speak with your own accent.
Yeah.
And then I'm a big
your own voice, an American accent, and...
Well, your own voice. Yeah. Yes, always your own voice. You know, people, when you've heard, as yet of Hamlet, our dear brothers, that they're going to another pitch. Then punctuation, which I believe in very strongly, that you don't have to help Shakespeare if you just don't stress anything he hasn't asked you to stress. Trust him.
Trust the script.
Trust the script, but I believe that with any playwright. Yeah. The playwright is God. Not the playwright per se. Terrence McNally is not God, but the writing that he does. That's what I is.
But I'll bet you, without knowing, that master class has been influenced, the words that come out of the performance that I would see tonight.
Yes.
Has been influenced by you leading up to the performance. It is not the script that was handed to you because of something that came out of, has changed. Not at all?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, it's changed only that I try every night to go a little bit deeper or try to keep fresh. Try to keep
But not just the performance, the words. I mean, do you change it?
Oh, no.
But even in rehearsal, before you...
before I learned
there was a collaboration between you...
Not too much.
No.
No, not too much. I'm very easy. I just do what I'm given.
You trust the punctuation.
Trust the punctuation, yes.
It's a great...
I do that. In fact, last night, I was feeling stale in one section. I asked the production stage manager, please, would you help me? And she said, well, you're losing the punctuation, you know, in that particular area that you're worried about. I went back and I was. I was putting a whole lot of punctuation in.
You were adding something other than the playwright's intent.
That's right. That's right.
And so you recaptured the intent.
Yeah, I did, and it worked.
Is there, with the diversity of the experience, teaching, directing, acting, wife, mother, any mountain that you have wanted to climb that you have not climbed? None.
No.
You have reached out and done with your life, unlike Maria Callas.
Yes, unlike
what you
Maria
needed,
Callas.
what you had to have.
Yes.
What was essential to you.
Yes. But it's her advice, or she wasn't around to give it, but know what you want, because you cannot do everything. So for the time of being wife and mother, I was prepared to say it doesn't matter. For now, this is my life, being a wife and mother. I found it fascinating. very demanding. Wow.
Calling on every skill you have.
Everything.
Because you're shaping lives.
And I do believe that our children are our most important because they're the future. So if I could bring up 2 reasonable citizens, that would be a big thing to do.
A big, big, big thing.
Caring citizens who maybe would do...
Do they have a love of theater?
Well, they do, and strange enough, Sam is a critic. Can you imagine that Robert and I would give birth to a critic? He's a critic on Time Out, New York. And Charlie works for Theatre Development Fund. But in no way did we put them there. They found their own way. In fact, they didn't
That's
like
the only way
coming
for it to happen, isn't it? They have to find their own way. Someone once said to me that if you were a great performer in whatever area it is, whether it's in sports or whether it's in journalism or whether it is, in fact, in theater, that you have to say to your child, don't do it. Don't do it. Because if they want to do it, if they love it, nothing you say will turn them away.
Absolutely.
Nothing you can say.
If you want them to marry the girl next door, say, I don't like that girl next door.
Why would you ever want to see her?
Right.
Inevitable. You have to go to the theater, and I am thrilled to have you on this broadcast.
It's been terrific.
Please come back, and we'll talk more.
Thank you very much indeed.
Masterclass. Zoë Caldwell will be there until June. Do not miss it. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Hate, a film by actor-director Mathieu Kassovitz, is not your typical French film. It is a contemporary urban drama set in a desolate Paris housing project. The story of 24 hours in the lives of 3 youths who live there. The film sparked controversy in France and is now being brought to the United States with the help of actor-director Jodie Foster as its presenter. Kassovitz's previous film, Café au lait, brought him comparisons to Spike Lee and Woody Allen, and Hate won him the Best Director Award at the Cannes Film Festival. I'm pleased to have Mathieu Kassovitz and Jodie Foster here to talk about this film. Welcome. Great to have you here. Thank you. Tell me about the making of the film, how you were there at this demonstration, and how it resulted in this film for you.
The thing is, it started when Makome, a young kid, was 17 years old and he got shot by a cop point blank in a police precinct, and he was handcuffed, in the head. And there was, this small demonstration by 300 people outside the police precinct, like 2 hours after that event. And I was there. Nothing violent happened till the cops tried to evacuate the place, and after there was a riot, but it was like 300, 500 people max, And after that, I said it's incredible because they have no respect for the people, they have no respect for the dead. The policemen had, and I said, how can you, when you're 17 years old, wake up in the morning, get killed in the evening, even if you maybe stole a car, I don't know what he did. But it's not enough. It's not something that can happen. So I said I want to do something about it.
And what made you decide to make a movie?
Because I'm a director.
That's what you did. That's how you. As she said, after she was at Yale, how I express myself is through film.
Yeah, and it's when you're lucky enough to express yourself, you can, if you can add social, political issues to what you're doing, it's a good thing, I think.
So you tell this story, 24 hours, through 3 characters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who are the 3 characters?
3 characters are Vince, Said, and Hubert. That's a Jewish guy, white, black, African, and Arab from Morocco. And they stick together, they live in a project around Paris. Projects in France are in the suburbs. It's different from here. And the suburbs and the projects are all around the big cities. So they are from that project, and you have to understand that in Paris or in France, everybody's mixed together. We don't have only 100% black projects or things like what's happening in Brooklyn or in the Bronx. It's completely different. But the thing is, it's them against the system and against the police, and they are being ghettoized completely. From Paris, from the big cities. So I follow them 24 hours and they find, after a riot that happened in their projects, they find a cop's gun, and in France, it's, you know, just to explain things. They find a cop's gun? They find a cop's gun, and in France it's a big deal because we have gun control. We don't find guns that easy. It's not like in the United States. So it's 24 hours of these three guys and the gun with the fourth character, and they want to kill a cop if one of their friends who was injured by the cops dies.
So it rushes to a dramatic conclusion.
So, yes.
All right, take a look at this clip, because this shows you a sequence from Hate. Here it is. And you win Best Director.
Yeah, they made me win.
How did they make you win?
They had, yeah, just a competition.
All right. So you won.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then what happened, the film was released in Paris, and it was a biggest success of the year, and you know, because of the film, because of Cannes, and because of the content of the film. Because first time that you see a different side of Paris, different side of this.
It's not
kind
your
of
basic
series.
Romantic love story.
It's not. No, it's not.
How'd you get involved?
Well, simple fact, I had known Mathieu's work. I knew Café au Lait very well, and had just seen the film, and we were entering in on trying to develop another screenplay with my company, with Mathieu, as a filmmaker.
Egg Productions here?
Egg Pictures, yes.
Yeah, Egg
and he said, well, by the way, you know, I have a new film coming out. You better see it because, you know, you may not like me afterwards. And I had a screening of Hate and completely fell in love with the movie, and just, I was so moved by it and so rocketed by it that I just, I wanted to be a part of the process and at least help some people in the United States to be aware, not only of the film, of course, but to be aware that there is a different side of France that is, in some cases, tragically and blissfully very influenced by American culture.
And what's the influence here of American culture is the urban violence, is the
his images
use
of
of
media
the gun,
violence
is
and
a
how
sense of violence and the impact of media.
Certainly, I mean, you know, this is a global culture now, and America has really, in terms of media, has really taken over the airwaves all over the world. I don't think we really realize the impact of that. You know, everybody sees Schwarzenegger movies and they wear Nike clothing, and they, you know, there's a whole American consciousness that is now very much a part of the European vision of things. And it's interesting to see that impact on a new generation of French people.
But are you saying then that this film, in a sense, what he's done here is a reflection of the kinds of films that were like Boys in the Hood and those kinds of urban violence films that were being made, that's what...
Well, you know, certainly
there?
Mathieu would have to talk about that. I would say that, you know, Mathieu's been influenced by all the movies that he's seen in his life, certainly the way I have as a filmmaker, whether it be Scorsese or Spielberg or, you know, the French movies from the 40s, for example. He's living in the world today. And this film talks about France today. It's not talking about Brooklyn. It really is discussing what is happening in France in a true and sincere way with these people. And it is shocking to me that so many French movies just don't relate to any of that.
But as soon as you say that, there were a number of films that came out about the same time your film came out in France that dealt with the same subject matter, yes?
Yes, exactly. It's
an explosion of...
Yeah, I think it's normal because, you know, everybody's being fed up with what's happening. You know, it was
tired of romance, are they?
Not tired of romance, but fed up with the politic and the social problems that we have.
Or fed up with the absence of an exploration of reality.
Exactly, and especially I think that the directors who did these films were, you know, they are between 25 and 30. Before they couldn't do such film because they were too young, and now it's new generation of directors with new problems, new ideas, it's a different thing. So these people are going to make the new French cinema like Spike Lee or John Singleton did in the United States.
Much has been said in things that are written about you about Spike Lee. You know, was
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Anticipate the question.
No, Spike Lee was a big influence on me because, you know, I've been listening to rap music since 1930.
1930? You were not even a gleam in your father's eye.
1983, and you know, it's been a long time. So when I saw Spike Lee's films, of course, I was pleased. He was the first director who did films about things that I liked.
Yeah.
So he was a big influence on me, like Scorsese, like a lot of people.
Black and white.
Black and white.
Except for.
Black and white, except for.
Yeah, it's black and white. Why did you choose?
Why black and white? Because it adds drama to whatever you say. you know, to whatever you show. It's like Jim Jarmusch films. When you see in black and white, you can make a pure comedy. If you show it in black and white, it's what you're saying to the audience: be careful, because you're not watching a simple comedy. It adds something else. It adds drama. Be careful, because you're going to see something's going bad. You know.
Yeah. What was it about, other than the fact that it was a different part of France that you saw, and it was more contemporary, more real?
Right.
What else attracted you to this to make you want to do more than simply call up your friend and say you did a hell of a job?
No, well, more than anything else, I was just moved by the people and by what they went through. And by the end, I was rooting for them, and I wanted them to live because I knew them intimately. And that is the sort of universal beauty of films, is that they are about coming to know people and connecting with them. And then, in some ways, having their lives be a part of your life. I was just really moved by this film. I thought that, most importantly for me, that it took an issue that is a very tough, traumatic issue, urban violence, urban unrest, the anxiety of being 18 years old and knowing something bad's going to happen, but you don't know what it is. And instead of just exploring the behavior in a way that's exploitative, it's a very, very maturely, very well-wrought, well-written film that allows the ending to be all about love and not about hate. I think that's the irony of the movie itself. That
It's about love and not about hate, even though... Was the title controversial for you, I mean, in a sense, or was it an obvious choice?
The choice was obvious. What the controversial was because you couldn't go and see a mayor from any city and say, can I go and shoot a film called Hate in your neighborhood?
Oh, so you had to change the name, in fact, when you went to the... What was the town that you...
Chanteloup-les-Vignes. I don't know if you heard of it.
Yeah.
We had to change the name, of course, during the shooting. It was a normal thing. And but Hate, for me, it's the only way to you know, the best traduction, the best résumé, no.
Summary.
Summary,
yeah.
But it's not only about hate. It's hate between a kind of people and the police, but there is love between them, between these three characters and between the people who live in the project. So it could have been called Love too, but it would have been different.
Yeah. Your parents, your father is what?
My father is a very, very good man.
No, he's a
director.
What does he do?
He's a director.
He's a film director.
He's a film director, yeah.
And his politics and his ideas, or ideas that you were attracted to?
It was, it wasn't politic, but you know, he did films in Nicaragua in 1965, 1968, so he was involved
Covering
in
the
that.
Sandinistas?
Yes, but not as a you know, he was making film there as a pure documentarist, you know, but it was only small things. He didn't want to make a manifesto, things like that. You know?
Is your mother an artist or creative?
She was an editor.
She was an editor?
Yeah. That's part of creation, too.
And what do you do for the film? I mean, as I said, presenter. What does that mean?
Well, it's an interesting task. For me, my name helps people know that that this is a movie to go see, I guess, that's serious and should be taken seriously. But also, my company is under the umbrella of Polygram Pictures and Polygram Entertainment, and this film is being distributed by Gramercy, which is also an offshoot of Polygram. So we sort of oversee the release and make sure that that things get taken care of, being that Mathieu is far away, and that the film is well supported and that people are aware of it as much as we possibly can.
Do you stay in France, or do you come to America because of the impact that American films have around the world?
As a director, I'd love to make film here, but it depends on what film it is. It depends on, you know, the state of mind. What you want to do here, it's different, you know. I know. I'm very lucky to find Jodie Foster because she's part French and she has different, you know, state of mind about.
You're part French?
No,
No,
just
not-
in my
In your soul.
yeah,
No, she's
just in my
the
halo.
soul, exactly. and she, you know, she really understands the way I want to work, and she offered me a very good thing. I hope it's going to work out.
She showed you a very good thing.
She showed me
She showed all of us a very good thing.
exactly. A lot of intelligence.
You remember that time I was once interviewing you, and I got on some very sensitive ground, and she said to me, I respect you a lot, I admire your work, but if you ask me one more question along that line, there's only one person at the table.
Yes, I think I remember that.
And I always use that as an example of if people say, you know, it's the Jodie Foster example. There is about you. You started when you were 3 doing this, whatever it was, whatever it was. What was it?
Copper tone.
Copper tone.
Yes.
You know, and then by the time you were 10 or 12, you worked with Scorsese, and Alice doesn't live anymore when you were 10. At 12, you were with Scorsese doing Taxi Driver, yes?
Yes.
There is this sense that you have, in some precocious way, had an internal clock that told you who you were, gave you a certain command, made you somehow awesome.
Boy, I don't know about
without
that.
losing. No, you do know. Without losing all that thing that you know, makes you so enticing to people and compelling to people.
Well, there's a lot of things.
Don't you disagree with that?
You know, I feel very lucky to be chosen by Jodie Foster because of that. You know?
Because of what I just said.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
tell me, is that right? I mean, help us understand.
There are a lot of
Seriously.
things that I really am bad at, and that I will always be bad at. And there were a lot of, you know, there are parts of my personality that I just have not grown into, or that you know that I'm not well versed in. But there was a prodigiousness to my life as a youngster, and that was that for some reason I was able to understand emotionally experiences that I could not possibly understand, so that I could translate and communicate experiences that really were way beyond my years. There was, I guess, some kind of sensitivity. I don't see that as something that I tried to have. It was
it was just
the way that I was, and I'm not sure I got any better, by the way. But that's something that I really wanted to talk about in Little Man Tate, which is, you know, I think that the greatest gift that I have been given was not the gift of sort of the intellectual processes, but much more importantly was being able to access a certain side of humanity, of sensitivity, and then be able to talk about it or communicate it. And I suppose I just did that at an earlier age than most people do.
But many of them, also people who have had such an extraordinary exposure young, almost, for lack of a better word, explode when they're later. I mean, they lose, you know? That didn't happen with you. Maybe for the same reason.
Yeah, I guess, you know, I always say that there's, if you had like a 2x4 piece of wood, you could either hit somebody over the head with it or you could build a building. It's really up to you to kind of make the choice of what you do with the information. The information is always good. It's just a question of what you do with that information. And, you know, being a young filmmaker, we've talked about this with Mathieu, you know, all the old filmmakers were young filmmakers once too. It's just that I think we're ready for some newer blood. I feel strange because I'm considered a young filmmaker, but I've been working for 30 years. So there's a side of me that does really want to talk in a contemporary, very messy, chaotic way about younger issues. But there's a side of me that's really an old fogey in terms of my tastes, you know, and the technique that I've learned over the years.
But it's also partly, I think, a product of what we talked about earlier. This early experiences you had gave you an instinct for command and for understanding power.
Yeah, well, I guess.
I mean,
my
you know
friends
how to
say, you know,
you just said, you know how early on, talking about what you could do here, you knew how to use and understand the power you have in Hollywood. You understand the deal you made with Polygram. I mean, you have more control over your life than most people in your business.
Yeah, and I have this, well, I have a feeling about that, which is, you know, the most important part of power and the most important part of control is to learn how to be honorable and to how to use that in a responsible way, in a generous way, to use it to give other people freedom, to use it like a good parent. You know, one of the reasons why I'm in the position I am with Polygram is that they know me. And they know when I say I'm going to be there at 8 o'clock, I'll be there at 8 o'clock. And when I say, no, I'm not going to spend that, I'm going to spend this, that's what I do. That there's a sort of code between us. That's a very difficult position to get into in Hollywood, where I think where people sort of trust your influences and trust where you're headed. And I think that that's probably the most important part of the command and power that I might have.
I don't want to flatter you too much, but I mean, it is the it is the notion that you seem to have used the power that you have, in a sense, to make, saying, the deal with Polygram.
Right.
What it has given you is not all of sort of the luxuries that are available to you. It's given you the power to do what you want to do, because what brings the greatest psychic income is the capacity to make the work that you want to do.
Yeah, I've made a lot less money than anybody else I know that's been in the same position, and it's really been because I feel like it was a fair trade. I really wanted to make, I I only wanted to make the movies I wanted to make. I only wanted to be in love with the films that I made, to be moved by them. Even if I made huge errors, big mistakes, maybe the film didn't work, but I just wanted to go in believing somehow in this silly, optimistic, cabaret-esque way that I was going to make a difference. And that to me is the old voice in my head, the silly, foolish voice that says, no, but wait, maybe you'll change something, you know. And to me, that's worth all the compromises.
Do you feel any sense of sexism or anything else that somehow that what you can command is less than what?
Oh, you mean financial stuff?
All that
stuff I find fairly trivial, considering the other issues that sort of loom in our culture. Really, I mean, there is certainly sexism in America, and it's permeated our culture. It's a part of it, but you know, things are getting better, and I definitely, the film business of all of the corporate structures in America is getting better and better and better. The one last bastion that really is very sad is our directors. There's just so few women directors.
But why is that?
Well, my feeling about it is that it's not because people don't want women directors or that they don't want the idea of having women directors. What they're uncomfortable with is well, let's say, for example, if you're a director, you walk into a room with a producer and the producer's sitting there, and basically his job is to say, I like your face, you are my brother, I see likeness in us, here's $3 million, I have no idea what you're going to make. And in order to be in a position where somebody feels that you're their brother and that they're going to entrust this pure relationship to you, women don't find themselves in that position very often, not as first-time filmmakers. And that is the first-time movie. It's getting in the door. It's getting given the material that's prime material that women don't get to do.
That, too, will change as more and more women occupy the positions of power as head of production and those kinds of jobs where they are, you know, have the capacity to say, sister, let's do this.
Yeah.
What do you hope viewers come away, American viewers, come away from Hate with? What experience, what sense, other than what Jodie said so well, identifying with the lives, the emotions, the feelings of these three people?
Maybe if it can help some American audience to, you know, to put put friends somewhere, you know, so that it can exist, that they can understand that outside of the United States, things exist. There are people living, and we got different problems, but we got problems too. If it can help that way, that will be great.
What's your next project?
Next project, I'm doing a film about the medias.
About the media?
Exactly.
The French media?
Medias. Medias is worldwide now. So.
Oh, really? I mean, about news
TVs,
and about
TVs and the influence of TVs on TV on young, you know, kids, and the bad things that TV can do.
Jodie, thank you very much. Great to see you again.
Cheers.
I've been saying Matthew, and it's Mathieu.
Mathieu.
Mathieu. All right. Mathieu Kassovitz. The film in French, Haine.
Haine.
Exactly. And in English, Hate. Thank you for joining us this evening. We'll see you next time. See you then.